In today's video I'm going to show you how to play jazz chords on bass, so you can create your own backing tracks with a looper, accompany solos with chords and get a deeper understanding of how voice leading works. Bass hack coming up! Hey bass hackers, Misha here with MMEducation, showing you how to learn faster and practice smarter by using the latest findings in neuroscience, so you can become the bass player you want to be, express yourself freely on an instrument and connect with the audience on a deeper level. So if you're new here, consider subscribing, and at any point during the video go check out the show notes and links in the description. Bullet points, links to related videos, free resources and all that kinds of stuff in the YouTube description. So let's get going and build some new neural pathways. So how to play jazz chords on bass? Why would you? Well, for me the answer was easy. When I studied jazz in music college, I got invited to join a guitar trio. Guitars, drums and bass. That's me. The thing is, if you play in a guitar trio, every single song is gonna have a guitar solo, right? And I got a little bit bored of accompanying every single solo with walking bass lines only. It would be nice to have some different sounds to pick from. And one of those sounds is chords, obviously. There was one more thing that really motivated me to learn how to play jazz chords on bass, and that's backing tracks. You could go on YouTube, but still the ultimate choice is reserved to those who create their own backing tracks. I had a loop station back then. The quickest way to create backing tracks on the fly was just step on it, play some chords, and you're done. Especially if you want to loop a section of the song or have a little bit of a variation, or actually play original compositions by the guitarist or your own compositions. Who's gonna create the backing tracks for that? Only you. So the first problem that I ran into when figuring out how to play jazz chords on bass was that I had too little fretboard knowledge. My whole knowledge about the fretboard was connected to the root note. That's kind of what we bass players do. Almost everything we start on the root note and then we just go from there. Once we have the root note, everything else is clear. But how do you connect chords to each other? And then another problem was just the fact that if you play them like a pianist or like a guitarist and stack thirds, root, third, fifth, seventh, they sound kind of muddy on bass. Fortunately, I found solutions to all of these problems. Stack thirds, leave out the fifth. Who needs a fifth? Because in jazz chords, the third and the seventh are the two notes that define the chord type. The fifth, not so much, but there's one exception. We'll get to that. The other thing is, fretboard knowledge comes with it. So instead of worrying about not having enough fretboard knowledge, I gained fretboard knowledge by figuring out how to play chords over certain progressions. And lastly, I also remembered a really cool exercise that one of my old teachers gave me when I first started out playing jazz solos. He told me to start with guidelines. Just start on the third of the first chord and then see which is the next chord tone that it can dissolve into. Alright, let's get into the juicy bit. Here are the shapes for the four main types of jazz chords. Here's how you would stack a major seventh chord on the piano. You would start on the root note, for example D. Then you have the major third. Then you have the perfect fifth. And then you have the major seventh. Apart from not sounding very nice, it's also almost impossible to play. So throw out the fifth. We are left with root note, third and major seventh. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna move that seventh to the D string. And then we're gonna take the third up an octave. Minor seventh chord. Same thing, usually you would stack it like this. Impossible. So we're gonna drop the perfect fifth. We're gonna take the minor seventh to the D string. And now we're gonna take the minor third up an octave to the G string. The dominant chord is basically exactly the same as the major chord, with the only difference that you're gonna take the major seventh and take it down half a step to get a minor seventh. Then we have the half diminished chord, and that's a special one. The thing is, if we leave out the fifth, which is the only thing that makes the difference between a minor seventh and a half diminished, you might as well not mention it at all. So what I do instead, I leave out the third, because it's usually implied by the chord progression that I don't really need to play that minor third. Here's what it sounds and looks like. Half diminished with a minor seventh. So now I'm gonna kick out the minor third and I'm gonna move the diminished fifth to the A string and have moved the minor seven to the D string. Now I'm gonna take the diminished fifth up an octave. That's the sound I like. In jazz you have a lot of chord progressions that move in fifths. For example, Autumn Leaves, the root notes. Always kind of jump from the E string to the A string. Obviously, we need chord shapes that work with the root note on the E string and on the A string. Let's just go from the G this time. G major, G, major third, leave out the fifth and go straight to the major seventh. You get this shape. Now for the dominant chord, all we have to do, move that seventh down half a step. You get a dominant. Now to go to the minor, all we have to do is move the third half step down, so we get a minor third. And then finally, to get that half diminished sound in there, I'm gonna move the minor third to the diminished fifth. So here's how that guideline exercise works that I talked about before. If we're playing Autumn Leaves in G minor, for now we're just gonna start on the seventh of the C minor, first chord, right? If we now go to the F, our seventh, that is a D, turns into the third of the F7, which is A, just half a step down. If we then move to the B flat, that note can just stay because the B flat has a major seventh with this, which is A. Then we go to the E flat major, and now we're gonna move down to the G, which is the major third of E flat major. Let's take another example. Let's take giant steps. We start on the major seventh of the first chord, which is B major. Then we go to D dominant. The closest note that I could move to would be the minor seventh. A whole step up. Then we dissolve into the G major. Half a step down here, which is B major third. Then we go to B flat dominant. We could either move to the root note, half a step down, which is kind of boring, or we move up to the third, which is minor third up, which is quite a jump, but what the hell, it's giant steps, right? Not little steps. And then from the major third of B flat 7, we move to the No, we don't move at all. We just stay there. Because it's the major 7th of E flat major. Then we go to the minor 3rd of A minor and to the stay there for the minor 7th of D. And then we're back in G. And the whole thing starts over. Alright, we're gonna end this lesson with a quick demonstration of both of these songs played with chords. And we're gonna start with Autumn Leaves in G minor. So today I showed you the 2 most important 7th chord shapes on bass, so you can accompany jazz tunes with chords and get a deeper understanding of how the principles of voice leading work. Now it's up to you to not just take in the information, but create new neural pathways by applying the newly gained knowledge. Question of the day: which jazz tune are you going to figure out the chord shapes for? Let us know in the comment section, and remember, some of the coolest ideas come from you and the MMEducation community, so definitely connect with everyone in the comment section, and if there's any specific topic that you would like to have covered in one of the future episodes, let me know in the comments as well. Alright bass hackers, thanks for checking out this video. I hope it got you one step further towards becoming the bass player you want to be. Definitely subscribe for more videos just like this, and if you are interested in learning bass chords that don't sound so jazzy, go check out my Bass Chords That Work tutorial right here. Until next time, MMEducation is helping you to learn faster and practice smarter. So keep up the good work. Love and bass.